Hello and welcome. My name is Brian Kaplan. I'm editor of The Banker. We're at the Bank of the Year Awards 2015 in London. It's a black tie dinner. We have guests coming from all over the world. I'm with Silvia Pavoni, who's the economics editor. And Silvia, once more, very exciting evening ahead of us with the Bank of the Year Awards. This year we had 500 entries. We've given awards in 152 countries. And the global winner is Wells Fargo. Why did we give it to Wells this year?
So Wells Fargo is a solid bank, very strong capital ratios, but also very profitable. So for a second year in a row, they've reached record earnings. And it's not just a bank that is a clear leader in its domestic market, which is the United States, but it is also very effective in serving its clients and customers all over the world.
And I know it's done very well in Latin America, and Latin America is a region that you watch very closely. What have the entries been like in Latin America? Because we know Latin America is going through quite tough times at the moment.
Indeed, economically it's not really the best of times for the whole of the region, for a few countries in particular, but the quality of the entries was still pretty good. So we still got very solid entries from pretty much all over our participants. And so let's hope that the quality will continue as we approach next year's event.
Obviously, one of the great things about the awards is that we have people coming from all over the world. We have people coming from Latin America. We have a big contingent coming here from Asia this evening. And one of the unique awards that we have is for financial inclusion. So tell us a bit about that award, because we had a lot of entries for that this year, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We got about 50 entries for an award that I think we all consider as being a little bit special. So we like to award banks that do help include wider parts of the community into the financial services sector. The winner is the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, in recognition of not only their great efforts in their country, but also in recognition of how successful this model has been in supporting customers at the lower end of the spectrum.
Well, congratulations to Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Wells Fargo, all the other winners, and we're looking forward to a great evening.
The following winner has won multiple country awards for Benin, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Niger, Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone and Togo. EcoBank!
Hello and welcome to the Bank of the Year Awards for 2015. I'm James King, the Banker's Middle East and Africa editor, and I'm joined this evening by Renee Auenbang, who is the Global Head of Corporates for EcoBank. Renee, welcome this evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. King.
Now, EcoBank scooped 14 country awards in this year's edition, which is obviously a testament to your success in 2014. But obviously, it's been a very difficult year for a number of African lenders, given the stronger dollar, given the slowdown in China, and some of the commodity price weaknesses we've seen. To what extent have those factors impacted EcoBank in the last year or so?
You know, as an institution, as an African, we cannot always let external factors to decide our fate and our future. Yes, there is a slowdown in China. Yes, there is a depreciation of the local African currencies on the US dollar. And certainly there is a significant drop in the prices of commodities across various asset classes. But I think it is for Africa and African banks to look how innovatively and ingeniously they can handle these issues. We cannot continue to depend on the volatility of commodity prices. African countries need to diversify their economies so that they have different kinds of flows. We need to build a lot more on our own infrastructure, which will help to grow intra-African trade. We need to work more on the regional blocks and regional integration of our different economies. At the moment, there are lots of different economic blocks within Africa. We need to integrate those economic unions into one so that we can have common currencies across frontiers. The US dollar and the slowdown in China certainly has had an impact in some countries. For Nigeria, which is a key market for EcoBank, we have seen, for example, a depreciation of the local currency, the naira, against the US dollar. We've also seen in East Africa a depreciation of the Kenyan shilling, of the Ugandan shilling. In Zambia, we've seen a strong depreciation of the kwacha against. Some of these countries have gone into the debt markets, to sovereign debt market, to borrow, to try to stabilize their economies. But I believe that by diversifying their economies, by doing things like agriculture and more exports, they're going to be able to solve these problems in the long term.
Okay. Now, given this broader environment, do you expect EcoBank to be looking for further acquisitions, or would be more focused on consolidating your presence across the continent for the medium term?
I think EcoBank today, we pride ourselves in saying we have the largest footprint of banks in Africa. There is no other bank in Africa, in the world, that has a footprint of banks in Africa the way we do. I believe that we have a new group CEO who joined the institution on the 1st of September this year. The group CEO, Mr. Ade Ayemi, is working with the board and the management and all the entire staff to continue to deliver world-class products and services on the EcoBank platform. I think there will be a certain consolidation of our markets. Certainly, yes, there are new geographies that we have been looking at. The board and management of the bank will consider if they would continue to develop these geographies. But the prime objective of EcoBank is to remain the leading Pan-African financial institution, providing world-class services through retail and domestic, corporate and investment banking products, trade, treasury products to its customer classes across Africa.
Rene, once again, congratulations, and thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. I think the congratulations have to go to the 20,000 men, women of the EcoBank team across the world.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, the following winner has also won multiple country awards for Barbados, Belize, British Virgin Islands, and Grenada. And the winner is Scotiabank.
Well, I'm here with David Noel, Managing Director for Caribbean East at Scotiabank. Scotiabank is picking up 4 awards in total. It's this year's Bank of the Year. David, thank you for joining us today in London. You obviously oversee part of the Caribbean, but the whole of the region is really just now coming out just about from very difficult economic times. But Scotiabank obviously kept its commitment to the region. What were your most important strategies to keep afloat during this time?
Thank you, Sylvia. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here to collect these awards on behalf of Barbados, Grenada, British Virgin Islands, and Belize, who all won these important awards. I think in the region, our focus has been when your expenses are growing and your revenues are under threat, you have to find a way to structure your business in a way that makes sense for you. So what we've done over the past 2 years is to reorganize the way we do business, try to be more efficient, try and reduce our structural costs, use technology when we can to bring down our expenses so that we can continue to do well even in a difficult economic environment.
And technology is key, and it has been key for many of the winners, especially in this year's edition. And I'm presuming that it will continue to play a major role in Scotiabank's future strategy in the Caribbean.
Absolutely. Not only in the Caribbean, but globally. We're focusing more and more on using technology to better serve our customers and deliver an excellent customer experience. In the Caribbean, it's particularly important though, because of our geography, we have to find ways to operate smarter. And we use technology and use shared services instead of duplicating efforts in various islands. We have centers of excellence that we can provide service across the region on a more economical basis. And technology helps us do that.
So there's been quite a lot of consolidation in that sense within the bank. What about growth areas for the future? So in terms of countries or specific sectors?
So as you alluded to at the beginning of the interview, the Caribbean has gone through a difficult economic time. We are seeing some pickup in some areas in the Caribbean. Tourism has recovered well. So most markets that are tourism driven would have seen an uptick in arrivals and in spend. And oil prices, which are currently low, that's giving government some breathing room to make some adjustments. So we have found that if you pick your spots, you manage your credit risk carefully, so you want to lend prudently, but if we've been able to expand our lending to key sectors that we're comfortable with the risk, and that has helped us to expand. On the retail side, our credit card business and our auto business performing very well. And on the commercial side, again, those mid-market smaller deals that perhaps didn't get as much attention as they did in the past, we've seen more and more of those coming about, and that's helping to drive the economy, we believe.
Fantastic. So great business, hopefully a brighter future ahead of Scotia and the whole of the Caribbean. And now let's go and celebrate.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
to be here.
the Bank of the Year for South Africa, and also the Regional Award for Africa. That's the Supreme Award for the African region. Both those awards go to Nedbank.
Hello and welcome to the Banker's Bank of the Year 2015 Awards. I'm James King, the Africa and Middle East editor, and I'm joined this evening by Paul Burkett with Nedbank, and he's the executive head of coverage for the rest of Africa. Well, Nedbank is our regional winner for Africa this year, which is obviously a testament to the bank's sort of strong profit growth and obviously strong commitment to innovation and also geographical expansion. And a number of deals have been executed in the last few years, looking at Nedbank's acquisition or stake in Ecobank, but also into Banco Unico in Mozambique.
Yes. Yeah.
What will this growing footprint bring to Nedbank?
Well, James, we've really expanded our presence in the rest of sub-Saharan Africa very, very extensively, particularly in 2014. And that's in line with our vision to be Africa's most admired bank. That's one of our key strategic focus areas. And that really is being prompted by two things. Firstly, it's being prompted by the fact that economic growth prospects in the rest of sub-Saharan Africa are considerably more attractive than they are in our domestic market at the moment. You look at GDP growth rates in many of the countries in sub-Saharan Africa ranging between 3%, 5% per annum. And that's really underpinned by things like infrastructure development, increasing middle market, and increasing banking penetration in a lot of those markets, etc. But I mean, getting back to 2014, it was, as you say, a really milestone year for us. We concluded two major investments. The first was the 6 billion rand investment which we made in ETI, which is the holding company of the Ecobank Group. That basically gives us the status of largest single shareholder in ETI. And the second significant investment we made was the acquisition of a 37% investment in Banco Unico in Mozambique, with a path to taking control in 2016. So really the net result of those two investments is that as Nedbank we're now able to offer our clients banking solutions across a 39-country footprint. Also, just to say that during the first half of this year, 2015, our earnings from the rest of Africa actually grew by 437% compared to the first half of last year. Admittedly off quite a low base, but we certainly see that base expanding very, very rapidly going forward.
Now, you mentioned obviously very strong regional growth there, but looking at the domestic market in South Africa, the economy is cooling somewhat. What are your priorities, I guess, for 2016, given that environment?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think we all feel that the economic environment domestically is a lot tougher and a lot more challenging than what we'd anticipated, say, a year or so ago. If you look at GDP growth projections for 2015 and 2016, you're looking at just over 1% per annum. You've got interest rates rising. Inflation is starting to creep up towards the 6% level. I think to answer your question, our response to that environment will be really to stay focused on our 5 core strategic focus areas. And just in a nutshell, those are firstly what we call client-centered innovation. So introducing innovative products that will benefit our customers. The second focus area is really to grow our transactional banking franchise and to grow the number of primary bank clients that we have. Thirdly, there's something that we call optimize to invest, and that's really about introducing innovative products that benefit our clients, but also at the same time extract operational efficiencies to help us to manage our costs more wisely. The fourth strategic focus area is something that we call strategic portfolio tilt, and that is really about investing in attractive segments in the market, while at the same time very prudently and closely managing our exposures in the more risky areas. And then finally, of course, it's about continuing to build the Pan-African franchise, to bed down the 2 significant investments that I spoke about earlier. And also just to note that we are investing heavily in our own subsidiaries in the rest of Africa. So we've introduced a standard one bank type of model that will span across all of those subsidiaries. We're also currently in the process of introducing a single core banking technology platform across all of those subsidiaries. And also we're investing heavily in new product solutions. And we're in the process of rolling out branches and ATMs in those rest of Africa subsidiaries as well. So quite a lot of work currently underway as we speak.
Okay, well, fantastic. And Paul, once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
It's a great honor. We really appreciate this recognition.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
The Bank of the Year 2015 in Japan is the Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group.
I am Stefania Palma, Asia editor of The Banker, and tonight I am joined by Miyachi Masato, head of Europe, Middle East and Africa for Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi. Yes. Welcome, and also congratulations because Mitsubishi Financial Group has won the award for Bank of the Year in Japan. I think one of the main reasons why we awarded MUFG is because of its incredible international expansion strategy. Could you tell us a bit about that and why there's such a big push right now?
Yes, still BDMU MUFG has a strong plan to the expansion of the project of each area. In the United States, North America, still we have a strong intention to expand the area of the specifically asset management. Still we have a budget of the $2.5 billion to acquire some sort of valuable entity or asset in North America. And in Asia, we already acquired Banco Ayutthaya 72% shareholding in 2013. And before that, our second largest bank of, say, Vietnam is VietinBank, 20% of the shares, 2012. So next, we are thinking about the area of the Indonesia or Philippines.
And in addition to Asia and the US, where MUFG has always been very strong, right. Could you tell us a bit about what role London has in this expansion? Because of course you're based here, yes, and you're head of EMEA.
London is a very important place, and also as a control tower of the strategy of EMEA, we have a very strong plan right now, focusing on the area of the geographically two areas. It's Turkey and Germany. And specifically some sort of sector itself is we would like to focusing on the structured finance, including aviation finance, social housing, and acquisition finance.
And I guess this is quite in line with the group's strategy to push for fee-based income, for example. So, for instance, investment banking is something that MUFG has really pushed for. There's been the Morgan Stanley acquisition. I mean, how important is investment banking still within this MUFG strategy?
It's very, very important area still. As you mentioned, about 2008, we acquired the 22.5% of the Morgan Stanley common shares. And it's $9 billion US. And in 2010, we acquired 5.7 billion sterling pound asset from RBS, and also assumed a certain top talent people of the project finance area and the infrastructure area. This is some sort of a strengthening history of the BDMU MUFG strategy of the structured finance investmenting area. Now we have some sort of expansion of the investment banking area again, so we have a plan to 20% increase of headcount within 2 years for 2016, 2017, specifically in area of the investment banking. London is very important because we have a focusing on the capital markets and the investment banking here.
And in addition to expansion potentially in Turkey and Germany, if we think about 2016 and the years to come, what else is in your agenda as the head of EMEA BTMU?
But Germany is very important because, say, Germany corporate has a very much networking business in China, Asia. So we have we can provide some sort of very value-added services, networking banking to the German blue chip corporate, not only the German area but also global basis. The other, again, any other area is, again, we have some idea to acquire the certain entity or certain huge asset in EMEA area. Focusing on, again, strategy is aviation finance and social housing, and there's the acquisition finance.
Well, best of luck on all these new ventures, and congratulations again on winning the 2015 award.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The global Bank of the Year Award 2015 goes to Wells Fargo.
The Global Bank of the Year this year is Wells Fargo. I'm with Jim Johnson. He's the Regional President EMEA for Wells Fargo. Jim, congratulations on this Global Bank of the Year award. That's the top award at the banker. Tell me, what is it behind Wells Fargo's success in gaining this achievement?
Right. Well, first, thank you very much, Brian. Very much appreciate it. We think that we try to stick to our vision and values. Our core values and vision statement is we want to satisfy all of our customers' financial needs and help our customers succeed financially. So we try to stick to that. We try to stick to our risk culture. We try to think of compliance as a competitive advantage and keep a good, strong risk culture, but fundamentally, we want to always stay focused on putting our customers first, putting customers at the center of all that we do, trying to build out products and services that are designed around the customers.
Okay, now that's easy to say, but it's not easy to do because we have a very challenging environment at the moment. We have low interest rates, we have more regulation than ever. So, I mean, how do you see things developing in 2016? What's going to be Wells' strategy, especially here in Europe where you're based?
Right. Well, the strategy will stay exactly the same as it has been. It's been working for us, so we'll keep with it, put customers at the center of what we do. You're right, there are some challenges. Certainly the global environment, the economy has been uneven and continues to be uneven, but we've been through cycles before. We try to plan for cycles. We assume there will be cycles. Specific challenges we have, we're bringing in a fair number of new people, and we want to bring them onto our culture and adapt to our culture. Of course, we want to keep up with all the changing regulatory requirements, but fundamentally the strategy is to try and build out products and services that are matching what our clients need and incrementally growing in a way that goes into countries, for example, in Europe, you mentioned, focused a little bit on the UK, France, and Germany, which is where we have more of our clients, and building and developing long-term relationships. We've added more clients in each of the last 2 years in Europe than ever before. Now we really want to continue to build out those relationships and help those clients succeed financially.
Jim, congratulations on the award and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.